So welcome to today's listing and landings pages class. Today I am in a Firefox incognito browser. We have seen that command works best in Firefox and Chrome. So I'm in a private Firefox window today. And the first thing I'm going to want to do is sign into command at agent.kw.com. And you can sign in with your KW credentials here. I will allow you a second to do so if you're following along. But once we are all signed into command, and it may take a second to load, but once we are into command, we are going to check the settings first. So specifically the marketing profile, as this information will feed onto the landing page that we are creating today. So let's go ahead and check out that marketing profile. To do so, we can go up to the name or profile picture in the top right and go down to settings. Oh, no. And then sorry, I'll try to talk a little louder too. And then on the left-hand side, we're gonna wanna go to Connect Settings and Marketing Profile. So Connect Settings, Marketing Profile. And can everyone hear me okay? Also, this class today will be going over for solo agents. Just a heads up. But it's very similar to if you're on a team, because the consumer section actually is only tied to the personal profile. So this will be very similar to the team side as well. And thank you, Deborah. So this is the marketing profile. So this is where we can find our personal and contact information. And this marketing profile information pulls over to the website, the mobile app, the landing pages, any email designs created. So before you create any marketing materials within command, we recommend taking a look at the marketing profile to make sure everything is up to date. So everything will be pretty straightforward. You'll see your photo and a team logo here. You can go ahead and enter those in. We have seen that these work best with perfectly square cropped photos, just to avoid any distorting from that picture. So a perfect square seems to work best for these. Specifically the headshot, the team logo can vary. And as you scroll down, you can see you can go ahead and add in your personal information. So anything with this red star will be required. And you can update this at any time. So if you onboarded with us and filled out a questionnaire, this should already be pretty much complete for you. But of course, you can come here anytime and add and update any information in the marketing profile. So we also have a spot for your marketing or your market center information. So you can enter that here, logo. Down towards the bottom, you'll see some spots for legal footers and compliance. So you can add that information in. And then if you keep scrolling, there'll be some social options as well. So you can add in your social media URLs here. So if you have like a business Facebook page, for example, you can add that here. So that's just a brief overview of marketing profile. If you want a more in-depth explanation of this, check out our website 101 class. It really dives into this. But just make sure that this information, it looks correct and up to date, as this information will pull to the landing page that we're creating. To start today though, let's start with the listing section. So on the left-hand side on this menu, you're still getting used to what all these icons mean. You can click this red KW in the top left to expand those out. And we're gonna wanna go to listings today. Alrighty, once that's loaded, so it should first display my listing. So that's what's gonna pull up first here. So any of your own listings, they should be displaying in this section. If you do not see your listings here, no worries. So KWRI has recently added in a sync my MLS option. So up here in the top right, you may even see that in the middle of your screen if you don't see any listings. So this is pretty awesome. So in theory, these should already display here. But however, if you're not seeing your listing, or let's say you're not seeing that when setting up a campaign or an opportunity, you can come here to request KWRI to sync with the MLS to ensure those are coming over. So if I click sync my MLS, it's going to allow me to search by that, either by listing address or MLS number. Let me see if I can just find one here. And click next. Then it will display some options. You can select the listing that you want, so your listing. Click next. There's no email available. All right, so the reason that it's not allowing me to go next is because it does require an email within the MLS to sync this up. So what it's gonna do is once you click next here, it's going to send an email to the primary listing agent listed in the MLS to verify that, that's your listing. And then once that's been verified via email, it should be processed within 72 hours. In all of so not just that listing, but all of the listings within that MLS should display here. And going forward, all future listings within that MLS should automatically appear here as well. So if you're not seeing your listing, feel free to utilize the sync my MLS option, and that should sync within about 72 hours. So you can also search for the listing within the listing search to ensure that listing is live. So if you click search next to my listings here, it may ask you if you'd like a command to know your location. I'm just going to allow that. So this is the KWLS 2.0 in the listing search. So the great thing about the KWLS 2.0 is that it is linked to nearly every board in every state and even some parts of Canada. So this is what pulls over onto your command website, the mobile app, landing pages, any emails with the listing search. And this will allow your clients to search for your listings on all those different places. So website, app, and so on. Now, if you have your own listing, they should pull over to the KWLS in about 3 to 12 hours after going live in the regular MLS. So there's nothing you need to do to pull those over. That will be automatically done for you. And from what we've seen, that does take the 3 to 12 hours, and that will translate over to your website, app, and other marketing pieces as well. So if you can find it here within this listing search, it's live throughout the rest of the KW technology as well. So I'm going to go ahead and search for a listing here. So right now you'll see it's displaying local listings because I allowed that to see my location. And you can see on the map, I can highlight different neighborhoods, and I can select one of the neighborhoods to see those listings. I can also turn on these filters over here. So if I click filter, I can break it down by any one of these types. So whether that be listing type, status, owner, date. So tons of options for filtering. So if you need to narrow that down. And then I can also use the search box right here. So I can search by property address, MLS number, or KWLS ID. So I'm going to go ahead and search for a listing. I'll want to turn off the search within a map toggle to allow me to search for any listing throughout MLS. And now I can type in the address, for example. This will be my example today. And there that listing is. So that's a bit how you can utilize this listing section in Command. So you can search for listings. Your listing should be here as well. For today's class, we're going to walk through how you can create a listing landing page for one of our listings. So to do that, let's go ahead and move over to the Consumer tab. So again, I'll expand this out, and we're going to want to go to the last icon here to Consumer. Now, through the Consumer section, we can manage our agent website. So you'll see your IDX site here. Our landing pages, as well as some mobile app settings. So you can set up guide builders here. For today's class, we're going to be creating a landing page. So let's go ahead and click on landing page towards the top of the page. And you're going to use a landing page to share information with your clients, as well as capture leads. So when we're creating that, we're going to do this as a standalone listing landing page. So on this screen, you'll see the landing pages we previously created. Now, anything with this green toggle does mean it's live. To get started, let's click on Create a New Page in the top right. And we'll have two options here. For today, let's change this to as a landing page. So this is going to create a standalone page for lead generation. And click Create Page. So this is the landing page builder. So this is where we can build our landing page. So essentially what we'll be doing is grabbing these elements from the right and dragging them to the left to our editor, to our design. But let's start by renaming the page. I always like to do that first. So I'm just going to name it the property address that I'm going to set up today. So, and just clicking away from that will save it. Now over to the right, you can see some widgets, and we're going to use these to build our page. So I'm going to click and drag the widgets from the right onto the left. So let's go ahead and start with the branded header. So I'm going to click and hold and drag over to the left. So anywhere you see that green line, so anywhere that this green line appears is where that widget is going to drop once I let go of my mouse. So if I let go here, there you go. Now this is pulling from our marketing profile. So that's why we were able to see our info, and that's why we wanted to update that at the beginning of the class, because this does pull from your marketing profile. Next, let's add in a listing block. So again, clicking and dragging, and anywhere that green line's appearing is going to drop it. So I want to put it right under the branded header, so I'll drop it here. So you will see this is showing a generic listing, an Austin listing. at first. So we'll go through after we've added all our widgets and configure each widget and select our specific listing. So no worries about this yet. Let's just scroll down. Scroll down. I'm gonna also click X here so I can see the bottom of my page. And the next widget we're going to add is a lead form. So here it is. Now, if someone were to look at this page and they were interested about learning more about the property, they could fill out this information, and the lead information will come back into your command database. So what they fill out here will funnel back to your command database. So we have our lead form. So those are the main things I'd recommend. You can definitely stop after that. It's more than enough information. We have, our information here at the top. We have information about the listing, and then the lead capture form here at the bottom. Now I'll add a few more items as well just to show you. You can add any of these widgets you'd like. You can also add content blocks. So if you click content blocks right under that, you can also add in an image or a text box. So for example, if you have a listing that's maybe not on the market yet, so that's not in the KWLS, you could manually create a landing page with these content blocks. Well, let's go back to widgets because I'll be adding in a couple more today. So let's go ahead and add in the market stat widget. This will show us different stats and info based on the neighborhood we select. So I'm going to click and drag, and I want this right above my lead form and right under my listing widget. So I'm going to follow the green line and drop it. Again, we're going to go in and reformat this to our specific area after adding in all the widgets, just to give more information on the area. And let's also add in a video widget. So same steps, clicking and dragging, follow that green line for placement and drop. So if you have a virtual tour or some sort of intro video about yourself, any video you think that might be good to include here, you can add that in as well. And again, all these right now are kind of like placeholders. We'll be configuring them shortly. And lastly, let's put an agent branding here at the bottom. So I'm going to put it at the very bottom, green lines down there. Which again, this pulls from your marketing profile, so that looks pretty good. So this all looks good. This is all the info I'd like to add today. Of course, you can add in as many items as you need. Next, we'll go ahead and finalize these widgets. So to do so, we're going to click Configure Widgets in the bottom right corner. Configure Widgets. So this will bring up a list of all your widgets that you've included on your landing page. You can see that many of these are already completed with a green check mark, because these are pulling from the marketing profile, for example. But we're gonna start at the top and work our way down through them all. So let's go ahead and click on branded header to the first one. So here we go. Now we can add this information. So maybe we want a header text here. We can add one. It's not required, but I'm going to type something like featured listing. So there are only 30 characters here, so you will have to keep that short and sweet. Then everything else on this widget pulls from your marketing profile. But it's always a good idea to just look over it and make sure it's all displaying correctly. For example, maybe I want to add in some dashes here to the phone number. Go for it. And then once I click Save and Apply, this will update the widget right away. So then here at the top right, you'll see this arrow to go to the next widget. So first of 6 widgets on this page. So let's go ahead and just click that arrow to get to the next one. So next is our listing widget. So here we can select our widget by selecting, or sorry, we can select our listing by clicking Browse Listings. We can search by property address, MLS number, KWLS ID. I'm going to type in the address I'll be using. And we can click Select. So one other thing we have to do for this widget, so on the right, you'll see the listing is selected here. And now we just have to choose our header image. So you can choose from the listing, and this pulls over the listing photos from the KWLS. You can also add a custom image if you'd like. But I'll go ahead and just choose this first photo here of the front of the house and click Save and Apply. So it's gonna refresh to make that update, and we should see that display right away. So just some more information about the property. And even pulls in these photos. But let's go ahead and move on to the next widget. So clicking this arrow on the top right, we're on 2 of 6. Let's go to the next one. So we recommend just skipping the header for now and just entering a postal code, and it will basically fill in everything else for us. So I'll go ahead and enter the zip code. And then I can choose a neighborhood. So it will display tons of neighborhoods. I'll just choose this one. And then click Save and Apply. So you'll see once we do that, it automatically fills in that header for us and updates that with some active and sold stats for this neighborhood. And moving on to our video, so clicking the next arrow. So you can use the video for maybe some virtual tours or you know, like an intro video, something like that. If you have a video on file, you can do it from Upload Videos, so you can upload that from your device. Or you can use a video URL from YouTube or wherever you have that video hosted. So I'm going to use a video URL today. So I have this YouTube video open in another tab. And I'm just going to copy and paste this URL from the video and paste it here into the video URL. You can also add a headline and description. So maybe I just want to say something simple like learn more. If it's a virtual tour, maybe virtual tour, you know. And once I click Save and Apply, that video has been added in. So you can click on that right away and view the video. Next is our lead form. So clicking this arrow again on the top right, go to the next widget. So it says interested, let's talk. You can leave that or change it if you'd like. I'll go ahead and change it today. I'll just say contact today for a private showing. Again, we'll click save and apply. It will refresh. There we go. So last one, 6 of 6. Again, this pulls from the marketing profile, so there may not be things you need to change here, but of course, taking a glance at that to make sure it looks good and ready to go. For example, it looks like a license number is required, and it looks like Connie did not add hers. I'm just going to put a dummy one for now. And click save. So now this is good to go. Our page is complete. So you can scroll through and take a look, as this is what your clients will see when they go to this page. So look at photos. You have the neighborhood snap, about more information about that, a video, a place that they can contact you, and then your information. So very quickly and easily, we were able to build this listing landing page. So I'm going to go ahead and click Publish Page in the top right corner. It will ask, are you sure? And I'll say yes, update it. There we go. So when you refresh, it's going to take you back to the consumer section, which shows you your agent site pages first. So let's go ahead and go back to landing pages to see that landing page. And you'll see the page we created is at the top, and now this page is live. However, no one's really going to see this unless you sent it to them directly, since this URL. If you ever needed to, or you wanted to take this down or change the status to not live, you can click this toggle here, and that will set the page to inactive. So if you turn this off, it will ask if you want that to be inactive. And then you can always just click this same toggle to reactivate that. So if it's green, it does mean it's active. So let's go ahead and just click on the link. So if you click on the link, it's going to open it up, and we can see what that's going to look like for clients. Exactly. So in the new tab here, from this page. So that looks pretty good. Looking good. Now from this page, you can see the page name. You can see the URL, how many leads you've received. So if someone was to, on this page, and filled out the lead capture form with their contact information, you'd be able to see the number of leads here. And I'll be showing you where to find those leads as well in just a bit. Let's talk about the domain or URL of this page. So as you can see, it's pretty long and jumbled. So we do have the ability to change the ending slug. So if you click on these 3 dots to the far right, so if we ever need to edit the page, change something, remove widgets, you can do that here by clicking edit. Then change URL. So if you click on that, so you'll see that we only have the option to change this ending slug here on the URL. So I can change this to include the address, for example, and that will make it a little more customized and a little shorter. So you do have the option to change this ending URL. Now you can also, this is not required by any means, but you can purchase a custom domain. So for example, if I purchased 1200coachmandrive.com, you could forward that to this webpage. So if anyone were to type in the address.com, they'd be taken to this landing page. If you happen to have a custom domain that you would like forwarded, feel free to send us an email at support@scottleroymarketing.com and we can set up this forwarding for you. Once again, this is not required, but can definitely assist if you'd like utilizing a custom domain. You can also create a QR code for this page. So if you wanted to create flyers or postcards and you wanted to put a QR code on it, that's a possibility as well. So just to kind of show you that, I'll open up a new tab. And the one I like to use is called qrstuff.com. But there's a bunch of QR creators. If you type in a QR creation on Google, I'm sure there are different options as well. But from here, I can grab that URL. So let me copy the link location and paste it into this box. So if you watch this QR code over here, oh, sorry, sorry, I accidentally clicked the ad. There we go. So that will change for you and you can click download QR code. And that will download the QR code to your computer so you can add that to other marketing materials. So you can also just take this link itself and post it directly to social media. So if you go into Facebook and go in like you're creating a post, you can enter in this link, add some custom info like check out my listing in Waxhaw. And then your clients or whoever is looking at the post can be brought to this landing page directly. Now, again, if anyone is on your page and they enter in their information on that contact form, that is going to come over to you as a new lead. So let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit before we wrap up today to see how we can find those leads from our contacts. So we're going to go over to the left-hand side. We can go to our contact section to open up our command database. So it's going to bring you to all your contacts in your command database. And I'll show how you can filter your contacts to find those new leads from your landing pages. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Filters. Bring up a bunch of options here for this. We're going to want to click Leads Only. So anyone who enters their info will come over as a new lead. So you see on this, Aaron Kaufman, for example, has this little L icon. That's what that's saying, that he's a lead. And then for lead source, we can type in landing page. And make sure, you'll see a few different options here. We're gonna wanna make sure we're clicking KW landing page. So leads only, KW landing page. And click apply. So I created some examples here. So this will show me leads I've received from my landing pages. So from here, you can go ahead and check out those new contacts, get in touch with them. If you actually click on the contact name, it will open up the contact profile. And on the right-hand side, under the timeline or activity, you'll see which landing page this lead came from, and even the note they may have left. So if you see this, you will also, when they fill out a landing page, that you will get a notification in the bell icon to let you know that someone's filled that out. I want to show you that as well. So then you could, reach out to them, say, hey, I saw you were looking at the 707 Castlestone Lane landing page. would you like to set up a showing? And then you can go from there. So this is a great way to keep track of those leads coming from the landing page. So one last thing before we wrap up today, I'm gonna hit back to contacts here. So this is still showing my landing page leads. And I also want to set up a smart view. So a smart view is a custom filter that you can easily apply to your contacts. So if I click create smart view, it's going to create a smart view based on the filters selected. So if I click create smart view, I can name that, let's say, landing page leads. Now I can even make this the default. So if I sign out and back into command, these will display first. I don't want that for this, so I'm just going to leave that blank and click Save Smart View. So to show you that in action, let me just clear out these filters. So this is what it would look like when you're signing in. But since I've set up that Smart View, I can go to the Smart View dropdown and select that Smart View I just created to pull those up right away. So that's a quick way you can find those landing page leads. So that is actually all for today's class. Thank you so much for joining. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to email support@scottleroymarketing.com. Thank you so much.